Added.
No, is that what your Skype sounds like? Boop 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 boop.
I mean, that's terrible what you're doing, but like I get the gist of it.
Boop 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 boop.
I hope that like stop. Who did
Testing.
Who did Cleveland get rid of? Brandon Knight and who?
Is it Exum? Or is Exum still playing for them? Does it really matter at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
they're both irrelevant.
No, it was Brandon Knight and it was what was the trade?
I've had to look up trades throughout the week.
I memorized every single trade pathetically except for who they gave up with for Drummond. It was Brandon Knight and it was John Henson. That's what it was. I just ran the court with everybody on and then I picked him out. John Henson, you gone, and then
Yep, Love is out, and yes, Carl might get another guest appearance. This time if he's good. I don't think there's any way he's getting up the steps this time.
I'm buying up for Brian tonight.
For Carl?
Brian. I'm gonna continue to call him a new name every single time.
That's fine. I forget his name every once in a while.
And this is how Skype sounds. Do 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 do.
Exactly. That's what.
No, yours was terrible. Do yours again.
No, I'm good.
Because it's trash. Because you're trash. Oh, Alonzo McKinney's gonna get 21 minutes. Hello, GPP.
What's going on, guys? We're gonna give it a few more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started here.
Yeah, give me a second. Hold on.
Oh yeah, TJ, check out the stream.
Hold on. I'm doing Cleveland real quick.
Okay.
Cleveland!
This is for you.
This is for you!
The most overrated thing, the most forced thing on the planet was that.
Because he copied KG.
I know.
Yes, 100%. When KG did his anything is possible, it was basically him just regurgitating it with a stupid saying. I mean, yeah, it was cool. We won it for Cleveland, but like, shut up, idiot.
We're on stream, so just kind of keep it PG-13.
I said
I know, but I know what you wanted to say.
I didn't say it.
All right, guys. We're gonna get started in about a minute here. Okay. Day's going great. Thanks for asking.
Matt's gonna say we're gonna get ready. Okay, so Drummond sample size with Kevin Love off the court is 0.4 fantasy points per minute. So he's terrible tonight. Where's Sexton? Matt's gonna say we're gonna get ready in a minute, and then he's gonna start in 10 seconds.
No, I'm literally looking at the clock.
Guys, all right, hey guys, welcome.
Yo, TJ's on one. He takes one day off break off the stream.
Actual stream, and I don't have to sit at work or go to volleyball. We lost last night in volleyball.
Oh, so
we won 2 and lost 1. Game we lost, we got smoked. Oh, that's why. Oh my God, I was like, why is Larry Nance not looking like somewhat decent on the sheet? And I have him at.
Can I tell you how much I hate Cleveland?
Matt, we're on the stream, man. Calm down.
I know hate's a strong word, but I hate Cleveland.
Why did Garland at 30? Oh, okay.
It's so annoying that they're in a good spot too. All right, there's 38 viewers. They're waiting for us to get going, so let's go ahead and get started, TJ. All right, welcome to the stream. Last night, guys, we dominated, absolutely dominated. If you guys went for the pivots, I posted in the Patreon, I posted on Twitter, I posted it in the Discord, pretty much everywhere that I could. This is why DK is so good, because last minute pivots can make or break the slate, can make or break literally a takedown. I would have had a takedown if the Pelicans played the entire fourth quarter, but they were blowing them out, so I didn't get that far into a takedown territory. I think I got top 20, but nothing special. But guys, you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot watch my video, my early morning video. You cannot just watch the stream, then get late-breaking injury news and just throw it all away. All right, you can't disregard the late-breaking injury news. The injury news that comes out after the slate and late-night pivots are very crucial to NBA. You can get away with that in MLB. You can get away with that in NFL a little bit. You can get away with that in most sports. You cannot get away with that in NBA. And I know TJ wants to talk about it a little bit too.
Yeah, the one thing I just wanted to touch base on is when we post our cash lineup, right? We get a lot of people that will reach out to us if somebody's doing bad, like in the first quarter. And it's like, everybody's just got to take a deep breath, relax. There's so many ebbs and flows in basketball. There's so many runs that a team will make. There's foul trouble. There's things like that. So just trust us. If you're a member of ours, take our lineup when we post it. And if you're going to come at us every single time somebody's not doing well midway through the second quarter or like, after their first run in the first quarter, just like, you don't need to message us or like reach, like we're watching too, but like have faith in us, because I mean, as you know, we're pretty good at this. So just trust us. And if you want to just continuously message us and tell us like this guy sucks or why'd we take him or so on and so forth, like then go make your own lineup, I guess is what I would say. Because we don't want that.
We don't like negative vibes. I don't think you guys like negative vibes either. I like positivity. So
you just gotta take a deep breath. Like if you're one of our members, just trust us. That's it. I mean, we're not gonna win every single night, but we're gonna give you the benefit. Like we're gonna do our best to put out the best lineup. Like that's it.
Yeah.
So just trust us.
And again, we're speaking to about 5% of you. The other 95%, thank you so much. Like we appreciate all the support. We appreciate you guys keeping it going, trusting us with the memberships, trusting us with the lineups, and showing up every day to the stream. So with that being said, let's get that out of the way. What's up?
Oh, I just checked. I just opened up the YouTube.
Oh yeah. We got a little scrolling thing. Wow, you freaked out. I thought you saw an injury or something.
Oh.
Yeah, we got a scrolling thing up in the top, right there. Goes over. Do you know why I did that, TJ? I did that so I didn't have to stop the stream every 5 minutes and give my marketing thing. You can just look right here, and everybody's got some news.
Can we get into the slate now?
Yeah, everybody's sick of me. All right, let's go ahead. Let's dive right in. Let's start with the chalk. Let's start with the chalk in Phoenix.
Is there chalk?
There's more chalk, chalkish. I have my Red Bull again. I'm powered by Red Bull. This is not an ad
Red
whatsoever.
Bull a sponsor of ours that I'm not.
No,
aware
but
of?
we should be at this point because I've been running on the past couple days. So,
you're a lunatic.
Diallo, obviously without Ayton, is getting 33 minutes. Pops to the very top of our sheet. The most chalk play, 61% in tournaments. I think it might even be higher than that. Everybody is on Diallo for good reason. Averages 0.99 fantasy points per minute against a weak Golden State team. Again, very bad matchup or very good matchup. It's a great matchup, an elite matchup against the Warriors. Cameron Johnson's next on the list, 6.6, bottom of the barrel price tag, playing 24 minutes. I love Cameron Johnson, again, for value. Again, 24 minutes does scare me a little bit, but he's pretty productive with the minutes that are given to him. I do like Cameron Johnson. And yes, get ready. Devin Booker, 5.7, has dropped a little bit. I've went with Roto's projections just because on our sheet, TJ, I had them projected like 1.13 fantasy points per minute. It was a little lower than I thought or liked it to be, and they're in a pace-up spot. So I do like Devin Booker tonight. I just don't like him as much as I do on other nights. Again, not a bad spot for him. He's in a good smash spot, so I'm going to go with Roto's projection here, 5.7. Ricky Rubio does get an increase, and this is funny because we mentioned this before. With Aaron Baines, he actually did worse. I think that was the one. Or was it Ayton? It was Ayton. He did worse. So without Ayton on the court, he actually does a little bit better. He gets a little bit of a boost here in usage. 5.6 on our sheet. I don't mind Ricky Rubio. I think because they're playing small ball, he's going to get a little bit more involved in the offense. It's a pace-up spot. I do like Ricky Rubio. Could fly under the radar. 6% ownership. And also Kelly Oubre, 5.5. Also not a bad play. Again, this entire Suns roster should see a very tight rotation, especially down low. Diallo is the best value on the slate by far. TJ, what are your thoughts on the Suns?
Yeah, so I mean, basically everything you just touched base on is kind of where my head's at also with Phoenix. I love the spot at home against Golden State. I obviously really like Booker at 8-4, especially with no Ayton. I expect him to pick up, a load of this offense. Obviously had a very terrible game against the Lakers, only shot 2 of 11. I expect a full bounce back game for Devin Booker tonight. So he's most likely going to be one of my cash locks. I'm kind of on the fence, but I'm going to do my best to make sure I roster him in cash. Check Diallo is a cash lock for me, 100% at 5K, getting the 33 minutes. He's going to be probably the chalkiest guy on the slate. Nance might compete with him now, seeing as Kevin Love's out for one of the chalkiest guys. So I definitely like Diallo at 5,000. 5K, that sounded weird saying 5,000. Cam Johnson, I also really like at 3-2. The only thing is, like, I don't really trust the 24 minutes. I feel like he plays maybe like 21 or 22. That's kind of what he's played these last 2 games. So I am a little bit hesitant with his minutes, but like even if he gets 22 minutes, I definitely don't hate him at 3,200. Averages 0.88 fantasy points per minute. Nothing to really, nothing really that jumps off the table. But I definitely have some interest in him at 3,200 as a nice cheap play tonight. And I mean, yeah, Rubio, Oubre, I can make a case for any of these guys. The only guy I'm not really looking at is Bridges. So
yeah,
I feel like all these other guys are pretty good plays. Booker and Diallo being my 2 favorites from Phoenix. I like Cam Johnson. I don't mind Rubio. I definitely don't mind Oubre either.
Yeah, scrolly thing. Woo. Yep. It is up there, guys. I'm not going to say anything in the above scrolly thing.
So good call on that.
What's that?
Paul George stunk last night, someone said, so good call on that.
Hey, so TJ asked me to talk about Paul George before the stream started, so...
He shot 3 of 15, okay? Like, and he's still almost at value. Like, imagine if he doesn't hit 3 of 15. Like, that's crazy. Yeah,
if TJ was involved in last night and not at Wally Ball, he would have been all over the Pelicans too, so he wouldn't have made that same mistake if he was with us. So
I would have changed it up. I would have went Drew Holiday, but like I still liked Paul George. I mean,
yeah, Paul George was in a decent spot. The only guy I'm gonna agree with you here. I'm gonna get back on track. Bridges, the only guy I don't like. 5.3 is just a little too pricey. As we know, he's not that productive. If he was in that 4K range, I'd be a little bit more intrigued. But 5K is getting a little too pricey for me.
He did play really well against the Lakers. Just, I mean, food for thought, and he played 31 minutes. So I definitely don't hate. I definitely don't mind taking some stabs at him in GPPs, but not for cash.
All right, let's move on to. You want to move on to Milwaukee?
Sure.
Okay. So Milwaukee.
I know you're not going to go team and team, so yeah, just move around the board.
Well, we can talk about the Warriors.
Nope, I gave up on that with you. You don't want to talk about my Warriors.
I get excited about the certain plays I want to talk about.
I know, go ahead.
So Milwaukee, they're not necessarily chalk, but I want to talk about them because there's a lot of questions here, and there's a lot of discrepancy with FanDuel and Draftkings, so I'm going to keep it on Draftkings, okay? With FanDuel, play these guys and just lock them in, and that's all I'm going to say. For Draftkings, Drew Bledsoe. Wow. Eric Bledsoe is obviously a lot of a better play than Chris Middleton tonight. Okay. Just because of his price tag, and Bledsoe averages a crazy fantasy point per minute. I don't have it in front of me. I know TJ does.
1.53.
5.3?
1.53.
1.53. Yeah. So unbelievable. 7.7K price tag. Obviously, you're not going to fade a guy that's averaging what Joel Embiid would be averaging at 7.7K price tag. Okay, it doesn't matter against what team. This is a pace down spot for Milwaukee, but Drew Bledsoe should be an auto lock. A really, really solid GPP play.
Drew Bledsoe again, just so you know.
Why do I keep saying Drew Bledsoe?
Because the Patriots are the best. I don't know what to tell you.
Eric Bledsoe, 6.4 should be an auto lock tonight. In GPPs, he's showing at 25%, which doesn't make sense to me. 25%. Again, people are just scared off the price tags. They just see it go up that much and they automatically get scared. They don't look at the statistics behind it. They don't look at the value behind it. So again, wow, Eric Bledsoe. I'm not going to say Bledsoe anymore. Eric Bledsoe, 6.4 is going to be at the top of the list here. So Ilyasova, 5.9, 4.8K. Not a bad play as well. We know that he does well without Giannis. 25 minutes, not a bad play. Like I said, and especially in GPPs, 5% ownership, very low owned, okay? Chris Middleton, 5.6, also not a bad play. However, I would hesitate to play him in cash. If you want to take stabs at him in GPPs, by all means, showing at 12%. And DiVincenzo, also not a bad play at 5.3. TJ, what's your thoughts on these guys?
Yeah, so for cash tonight, I definitely want to try and get Eric Bledsoe and Devin Booker in my lineups. I really like Bledsoe tonight in what I think should be a pretty competitive game with no Giannis against the Pacers on the road. Bledsoe rates out as a 6.9 on our sheet. He gets an 8.5% usage bump with Giannis off the court, like Matt said, or I kind of alluded to a little bit ago. He averages 1.53 fantasy points per minute. It doesn't even look like he's carrying that much ownership, which is pretty crazy to me. So I'm definitely going to lock him in cash. I would definitely rather go Bledsoe over Middleton in terms of DraftKings. Like Matt said, I think FanDuel, I saw it earlier, they're both really cheap, so get both of them, I guess. I don't know the pricing on FanDuel, so I'm not going to sit here and attest to that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so, but I definitely I don't hate Middleton at 8,800. It's just that price tag is just way way too over the top if I'm choosing between Middleton and Bledsoe. I'm definitely going to save the 1,100 with Bledsoe, and I think I'm getting the better player in terms of fantasy production with Giannis off the court. I don't hate Ilyasova as a last piece landing spot either at 4,800. Obviously, all these guys got their appropriate price bump. I just think Bledsoe's a little too cheap. So those are really the only three guys that I'm kind of looking at. Like I don't hate stabs of like Brook Lopez or Dante DiVincenzo. But yeah, I think Bledsoe's going to be one of my cash locks tonight. I definitely don't hate Middleton as a last piece or Ilyasova as a last piece. If they somehow end up on my roster tonight for cash, I don't hate it. So.
Yeah, again, and this is a pace down spot. If this was a pace up spot, it'd be a lot higher on these guys. I would still be all in on these guys, but again, they usually play good defense, even though they've been playing. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, like, the thing with Milwaukee is that they're the fastest paced team in the NBA. So I feel like whenever they're going to be on the road, they're going to be in a pace down spot. And Indiana is actually 13th ranked in the NBA right now in terms of pace. So not too bad. But obviously, yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit of a pace down spot here for. I just completely lied. I'm sorry. My thing was not. Indiana's the 24th slowest, I guess, technically pace team. So it's definitely a pretty significant pace down spot.
Yeah.
But still, like anytime Milwaukee's going to be on the road, and they're not at home, it's a pace down spot for them. So
the last two times Milwaukee's been without Giannis, they've been in a crazy pace too. I mean, I don't know if Giannis slows them down necessarily, but their offense has looked completely different. They've just been putting up a lot of shots in general.
They're just such a good team. Like, it doesn't matter if Giannis is obviously Giannis is an incredible player. He's the best player in the league right now. But you take him off the court, they're still very good.
Right. All right. So we got Milwaukee out of the way. Do you want to move on to Cleveland because of the Love news that just came out?
Sure.
Yeah, I just jumped around again. I'm sorry.
I know you are. I'm used to it now. I give up.
I kind of.
Oh, one guy I want to touch base on real quick since we're on that game is Indiana is obviously Oladipo again at 4.8. I definitely think he's cash viable.
Yeah, and it's funny because the public was all over Oladipo when he was at 4.2, and now he got up $600, and now his ownership's down to 29%. It's just funny the way it works. He has a pace up spot.
He didn't even play that well. I mean, I rostered him in cash that night when he was 4.2, but I was underweight on him in terms of GPPs. He just hasn't found his shot, and he will. I mean,
one of my favorite players to watch
for a significant amount of time. So I definitely think at 4.8 he's cash viable too. Sure.
Yeah, I think I'll be a little bit overweight on him in GPPs as well. Again, so we're going to Cleveland. So with Love, TJ, I wasn't getting anything appealing with Love off the court. That really was worth talking about. I don't know if you want to talk about these guys at all. It's kind of confusing with Drummond in the picture too. You don't really know how it's going to be distributed because we've never had Love off the court with Drummond in the lineup before. We don't know what it's going to look like. I do know these guys are in a pace up spot. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on Cleveland.
Yeah, so it's obviously a really good matchup against Atlanta in a pace-up spot for Cleveland at home. I look for Atlanta to come in and obviously push the pace. It's something that they do game in and game out. The only guy that really screams out to me is obviously Larry Nance at 5-1. Going to be starting for Kevin Love, going up against those Atlanta bigs, 30-plus minutes. I mean, we don't know what kind of minute restriction if he is going to be on one. Drummond played 30 minutes in that opener against the Clippers. They might need him for a little bit more of a run now, obviously with Kevin Love out, and he might be a little more acclimated now in his second game for Cleveland. But I don't think that affects Larry Nance playing at the 4. So, I mean, he'll probably be a cash lock for me just in terms of ownership. I expect him, like I said, with Diallo, I expect those two to be probably the two highest owned on the slate tonight. So, I mean, Nance doesn't scream on our sheet or pop out, but the matchup, the price tag, the minutes, it's just definitely somebody that I'm going to look to probably roster in cash, and he'll probably end up being one of my locks.
Yeah, I will say this too. Roto has him projected right now at 44% ownership, so you hit the nail on the head with the ownership there.
See, I see 0.25%.
Yeah, you got it. I just updated. So I will say this. I'm going to go with Roto's projection when it comes to this because, again, it's a pace-up spot. He doesn't bode well on their sheet usage-wise or fantasy point per minute-wise, but, again, it's a pace-up spot. If Cleveland, guys, I'm going to say this right now. If Cleveland goes under 115 as they're over-under, you're in a lot of trouble because these guys are going to be hard. It's going to be really hard to match these price tags because we know how bad Cleveland can be. Just player-wise, I think Drummond has an outside GPP option too. I think it'd be interesting to see what he looks like without Love on the court. I mean, really, I mean, if you just look at the rest of the roster, it's disgusting. So
Yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure we saw in the past this year is I don't have it in front of me, but I looked at it earlier. Like Drummond decimated Kevin Love in TT. I'm pretty sure. I want to go back and try.
Except for
and
the
see
one time I play them.
Yeah, this was. I feel like we had this conversation. It was one of the nights that you faded him. Yeah, in the last 2 games he played against Cleveland, he put up 60 points in each. So like, I don't even hate Drummond as like a cash play if you land on him. Like I said, I'm gonna do my best to get Eric Bledsoe and Booker tonight. But like if I can somehow get up to like Cat or to like Drummond tonight, and Drummond with no Kevin Love, it's obviously tough to gauge because we don't know what he's gonna do in Cleveland without Love. But I look at him to be the main focal point of the offense, especially with Kevin Love out. So I definitely don't hate Drummond as like a last spot in cash. But Nance is going to be a cash lock for me. And like I said, if I land on Drummond, I'm not upset.
Yeah, I'm terrified to play Cleveland players in general. So for GPPs, I probably will match the field when it comes to these players. I'm probably not going to go overweight on these guys. I will say that. That's going to probably be my stance. Atlanta, with the exception of Drummond. With Atlanta, we're gonna go with the rotation you want here. We're gonna go straight to the other team. With Atlanta, do you like anybody from Atlanta? Because we know that Dedmon's actually playing, starting.
Yeah, I do. Oh, Cat just got ruled out.
He got ruled out?
Yeah, scratch my Cat play. My last spot would be Drummond now.
You got feedback.
Dedmon in his first 2 games so far for Atlanta, he's played 33 and 28 minutes, and he's been super productive in both. Going up against Cleveland, he is starting tonight. So, like, I don't hate Dwayne Dedmon as a cash play tonight at 4.7. I think he's definitely cash viable. He actually rates out pretty well on our sheet in the sample size so far that he's been playing with Atlanta. I know it's only been 2 games, but averaging 1.02 fantasy points per minute right now. Getting the start, should see 30 minutes. So, like, I don't hate Dedmon as a cash play. And the other guy I'm looking at is Trae Young. I don't know if I'll be able to get up and pay for him tonight at 10.4. He might be pretty chalky. So I know Roto says 6%. I don't buy that in terms of cash. So I definitely don't hate him as a cash play tonight. But I would rather go get Booker and Bledsoe than pay up for Trae Young. But I mean, I don't hate Dedmon. So that's definitely somebody that I'm looking to roster in cash if I can somehow get him in there. But we're going to definitely have to wait and see what's going on with Minnesota now. Like, who would get the start at the 5 without Towns?
I'm going to speak on the behalf, I'm going to speak about Atlanta here real quick. I'm just going to agree with everything you just said. There's really nobody else to talk about on that team. Dedmon, obviously 28 and 31 fantasy points. Has a pretty good floor now if he is getting those minutes, which he should, against Cleveland. And we know with how bad those bigs are, with the exception of Drummond, could end up having a sneaky good game there. So I do like Dedmon, and I do like Trae Young. Again, Trae Young is probably the only guy that I ever like from Atlanta, and when John Collins is under 8K. But
your boy.
I know you're about to mention him.
Naz Reid might start tonight now.
My boy.
I wonder if they would put James Johnson at the 5.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wait for the minutes update, as you know, and then I'm gonna go ahead and calculate those. So for you guys waiting for that, we always wait for the minutes before we start diving into the usage and everything. I'm looking down the line.
I just looked at the chat. Everybody's saying Cat's out, Towns.
I like it.
And Anker just goes, or no, Will Shepard goes, everybody freaking out in the chat. And Matt and TJ were just like, well, Cat's out, and just still talking about it. Wow.
Yeah, so, no, literally, you should see me last night when I got the Brandon Ingram news. Everybody was freaking out in Discord, and I just looked at my phone, and I just started plugging away, just numbers, start plugging away.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is going to be tough there's going to be no sample size with these guys, so, I mean, I would just, based off of my past experiences, like if Naz Reid gets to start, I mean, against Charlotte, like if it's him or James Johnson starting at center, that's the guy that I'm locking in cash. I can just say that with or with. I don't need to see the minutes. Whoever's getting that start is the guy that I want to lock in.
So the news we're pending right now is going to be from Toronto with Ibaka, right? I think that's the only really big injury news that's pending.
Yeah, which is, I mean,
that is huge.
It's huge. I mean, based off of what we saw. What was it? Did they play last night?
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, yeah. I was trying to think of when I rostered all of Toronto. Like
when we got Lowry at 10%. You mean that
Say it
night
again.
when we got Lowry at 10%? You mean that night?
I mean, we saw what Lowry, Anunoby, Siakam, like all those guys did. So Hollis Jefferson. So yeah, Ibaka being out is huge, especially against Brooklyn. So yeah, that's definitely. I think that shakes up a lot. I mean, there's already value right now, especially with Cat being out, Ayton being out. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting, and hopefully we get that news. I mean, by 6:30, I would hope. They're playing at 7:30, which is good, so we don't have to wait too long. I don't think, but.
Did that?
All right, let's rifle through some other teams, and then we'll get back to Minnesota.
Okay. Who do you want to talk about? I'll let you drive.
Okay, so let's see here. We touch base on. Okay, so let's go. You want me to go like kind of not rapid fire, but
team rapid fire. Let's do that.
Okay, so Detroit.
Okay.
Right. We have Derrick Rose back, and we have Mikhailuk back. I thought I saw something that they were both coming off the bench. Am I wrong about that? I know they're on a minute restriction. Are they both coming off the bench as well?
Let me see if the lineups are out yet. No, they aren't for Detroit.
Nope. Okay, so Derrick Rose and Mikhailuk will play off the bench on Wednesday. Okay, so we don't really know what minutes D Rose and Mikhailuk will play. Mid-20s, maybe low 20s for both of them. Rose, I would assume, plays more than Mikhailuk. I definitely don't. I don't like this matchup against Orlando at all. But like in terms of GPPs, like Christian Wood still rates out pretty well on our sheet at 7,100. They'll need him tonight to bang down low against Vooch. So I expect him. He's projected 32 minutes. If it's close, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays like 34 tonight. So I definitely don't hate Christian Wood in terms of GPPs. D Rose is his price tag is super cheap at 6,400, obviously coming back from injury, and he is on a minute restriction. I'll definitely take a stab at him and maybe in like one lineup with the GPP, maybe two, because he does rate well on our sheet if he does get those mid-20 minutes. So that'll be interesting. But besides that, I don't really have any interest in anybody from Detroit. On the other, Matt, I don't know if you can agree with me on that, but like Christian Wood's the only guy really that I would have any interest in terms of GPPs. Like I said, Derrick Rose, if they set a bar of 26 minutes that he'll play, like sure, I'll take a stab at him. But if he's gonna play, sub 24 minutes, then it's not anything I'm interested in.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind too, these prices, a majority of these price tags are adjusted with the injuries off the court for Detroit. Right. So like all these guys are inflated except for maybe Christian Wood and the guys coming back from injury. So Derrick Rose, like you just talked about, but like Reggie Jackson, we're not going to touch at 6,300. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, the only guy that really does make sense is Christian Wood, and then like you said, Derrick Rose. But again, even that might be an outside shot just because it's a pace down spot. These guys are going to get 1% ownership in GPPs, so feel free if you guys want to take a stab.
Yeah.
Do you want to move to Orlando? Because we got the Mo Bamba news too, so I kind of want to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. You by all means go ahead. I have no interest in Orlando tonight. Like Aaron Gordon maybe as a GPP play, but
I was gonna say that Mo Bamba really didn't switch up the picture, and I thought he would because he's a fairly productive player. So I thought he would give a usage bump to maybe some of these backup players, somebody like Terrence Ross. Didn't do anything. So the guy that rates best on our sheet here is Vooch. Vooch 9K is going to be an outside GPP option just because he's at 9K here. Against Detroit does not have Drummond, so again that defensive rank is kind of it's skewed a little bit because it shows. They're ranked 10th in the league against versatile bigs, but we know that Drummond was playing on that team before. So obviously Vooch should have his way in Detroit. Fournier obviously 5.1, but again these guys are just GPP options. So Mo Bamba news, don't freak out about it. It didn't really change much. So I want to move over to Washington real quick because I have another sneaky GPP play in here.
Okay.
Troy Brown, my man, still getting 27 minutes and still hitting. Well, he's still hitting value every single time. So
and I love him.
I really do because he's heavily involved in the second unit. Again, this is against New York. It's a back-to-back, so they're gonna have to play Troy Brown. Probably some more minutes, if anything. He should have a nice floor of 27 minutes here at Madison Square Garden. So I do like him to stay competitive. 1% ownership, 6.1 on our sheet. I know it's not a great matchup. They're not in a pace-up spot. But again, like Troy Brown should have a decent floor tonight. So I like him for GPPs. And Ish Smith has been balling out in the starting lineup here. So again, another GPP option. But there's okay, voice crack. Those are the only guys I want to talk about.
Whoa!
It's all right.
Nice.
We'll move on.
No Hachimura love?
I got roasted for Hachimura last night, so I want to talk about it.
Well, you're trash. That's why, right?
Yep.
My GPP play from Washington is it would probably be Shabazz. I mean, the minutes aren't there, but like at 4-1 against the Knicks, I like the matchup. It's just his minutes. Just they're going to be 20. He won't play probably more than that. The most he'll get is 22. He is pretty productive when he is on the court, so I definitely don't mind him at 4-1. I wish he was getting more minutes. Obviously, if he plays 22 minutes, that's definitely better than anything he's played so far in Washington. He played 19 and 20 in his first 2 games, so. I don't hate Shabazz as a potential GPP play. I wouldn't go crazy on him just because the minutes aren't there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really intrigued by this wash. I mean, the over under at 227 is something that's pretty glaring. But I mean, I don't really have it. Maybe like Bradley Beal, I'll take a stab at it 9-6.
Always a good play.
What I alluded to when Ish Smith became the starter is I feel like it might affect Bradley Beal a little bit. In the 3 games that Ish Smith started, Bradley Beal hasn't eclipsed 50 points yet. So I don't know if maybe I'm just a genius or not, but I think that's what it is.
That might be you might be a genius.
I think that's what it is.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and move on from Washington. I think there's just a couple GPP plays I want to talk about. Nobody cash viable though. Do you want to switch to the Knicks at all? Does anybody intrigue you from the Knicks?
Randall does for GPPs for sure. With Morris off the court, still has a 3% usage bump, averages 1.29 fantasy points per minute. I like the matchup against Washington, so I definitely like Randall in a pretty good spot against the Wizards. So I'll be overweight on him in GPPs for sure tonight.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I think Randall's the only guy that I'm looking at from this team. Again, everybody's kind of inflated here. I got some RJ Barrett questions, but again, 24 minutes, and you never really like playing somebody with that low of minutes at a mid 4K price tag unless he's super efficient, which he isn't. Reggie Bullock maybe as GPP shot,
yeah,
but again,
the minutes have been there for Reggie Bullock since he's been starting, so I don't hate him either.
Yeah, Randall and Bullock are the only guys I'm looking at, but again, GPP. Randall could be a cash piece if that's one of your last spots, but carrying decent ownership. Did we get the minute update on Minnesota here?
I don't know. I haven't checked, to be honest with you.
I think they're waiting for the starting lineup.
Ibaka will play.
He will play, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of off Toronto then, except for Ibaka. Ibaka's actually in the best spot if he plays full minutes, which he should. What was messed up with him? It was just an illness, wasn't it?
Ibaka, yeah, he was sick.
Okay, so yeah, he should be fine.
Yeah. So they bumped Naz Reid's minutes up to 26. They bumped James Johnson up to 27.
They did.
Juancho's now at 28. For me, it's just who's going to start between those two in terms of James Johnson and Naz Reid. I think they're both cash viable now, but like I would rather cement in whoever's starting at the 5.
All right, let me do some calculations real quick.
I mean, I don't think there's going to be a point, to be honest with you.
What do you mean a point?
Just they've had so much turnover so far.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm just going to take Cat off the court and see what that does to the main guys. Yeah. Because I think the down low guys are the only guys I'm worried about. For usage anyway.
If you're going to do for bigs, I would suggest taking off Zhang as well.
You're right.
You got to add him though.
Yeah, I know.
Dieng.
Thank you.
Welcome.
The stream saw me type it up before you said that. So
seriously?
Yeah.
How'd you spell it?
No, I spelled it right. So.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
You're smarter than I am. I trusted you. It's just I spelled it out earlier today, and you should have seen the way I tried to spell it. It was not good.
So yeah, like for instance, Naz Reid averages 1.23 fantasy points per minute, which is insane.
Like I said, if he's gonna get the minutes, he's a lock. Especially if he starts, there's no question about it. He'll become the chalkiest guy over Larry Nance, over Diallo. 100%.
If he starts, yeah. If he's coming off the bench, I love him in GPPs. Absolutely love him. I
would assume they start Naz Reid and then James Johnson comes off the bench, so that's good. So we have 3 really good value plays tonight in Nance, in Naz Reid, and then in Diallo. And like we didn't even mention on Cleveland, Kevin Porter, not that bad of a play as like a last piece at 4,300. Yeah.
I'm going through here, so it'd be interesting to see what D'Lo does with all these scrubs on his team now. So it's pretty much the Warriors all over again. 8.3 price tag could be a GPP option for sure. With D'Lo, he's in a decent smash spot. Again, this is a pace up spot for them against Charlotte. So D'Lo could end up making a case for a really good GPP option here. 8.3K, which is about the price tag he got in Golden State. So playing with a better, more pace up team, I guess you could say. I don't know if better is the right word there. A more pace up team. So definitely intriguing target for me for GPPs, especially if he's actually going to be at 7%. I will say that. I don't know if he's going to be cash viable. Oh, wow. It went down a lot. 114, Minnesota went down to.
Yeah, you'd expect their team total to drop for sure.
Means he just tagged Naz Reid regardless.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but...
Yeah, so I just want to show the stream here. I have his game log here. Whenever he plays close to 20 minutes, let's look at his output here.
He's very.
One
of
my favorite plays.
1.23 fantasy points per minute. He's very productive when he's on the court. He's playing against Charlotte too. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's never played 26 minutes in his career here. It shows. And anytime he's played close to 20 minutes, 25, 20, 26, all cover his price tag easily. So, yeah, I think Naz Reid's gonna be one of my favorite plays on the entire slate. I think regardless of if he starts or not, but getting 26 minutes off the bench, I wouldn't even. He would be an auto lock for me.
I love that Diallo has power forward eligibility.
Oh, yeah. I was going to touch base on that. Yeah. I don't know what he has on FanDuel, but for having that power forward position just opens up so many more opportunities just to build.
Him, Reed, and Nance all have it, so that's great.
All right. TJ, do you want to touch base? I think there's one more person we forgot to touch base on here, but is there anybody else or any other teams that you want to touch base on? Before we start answering questions,
I have some interest in Brooklyn. I don't know if you do. And I also, I mean, we're talking about Minnesota and Charlotte. I think if I'm taking somebody on Charlotte, like, I hate Terry Rozier, bottom of my heart. I think he's a terrible basketball player, but like 6'1's super cheap price tag. He's been absolutely abysmal, but I don't hate the 6'1 price tag. PJ Washington is somebody that kind of sticks out to me. We don't have Marvin Williams is gone now. Kid Gilchrist is gone. Cody Martin's out. So they're pretty thin at forward. So I definitely don't hate PJ Washington in a pretty good pace-up spot at Minnesota at 4-4. Rates out pretty well on our sheet. So definitely somebody I could get behind as a last piece in cash. But yeah, besides that, I don't have any interest. I mean, Cody, I guess Zeller now with no cat going up against Naz Reid. I guess. I mean, if I'm taking anybody from Charlotte, it would be PJ Washington. Like I said, I don't hate him at 4-4 as a last piece. Not somebody I'm going on my way to roster. But yeah, like I was saying, Brooklyn. I definitely have some interest in them in GPPs. There's a couple guys that I wouldn't hate landing on when it comes to cash. I don't know if you have any interest in them playing against Toronto. They have a 110 implied team total over under, which isn't too bad, but like Dinwiddie and LeVert both pop pretty like decent on our sheet, both 5.6s. Obviously still benefiting greatly from Kyrie being off the court. So at 7.8 and 6.6, I'll probably be a little overweight on them in GPPs. And then Joe Harris and Teron Prince actually pop on our sheet too, but you know, not guys that I'm in love with by any means.
I think Prince is going to probably be my favorite just because that 4.8 price tag, he got a price decrease there in a good matchup. It just seems like whenever he gets overlooked, he always snaps. I feel like with him being at 8% ownership, I'm going to definitely take advantage of that. I do like Prince, and of course, Dinwiddie got the price decrease. 109 isn't too bad. Should be competitive. It's at Brooklyn, so they should keep it close. I think those are the only two guys I'm really looking at, and LeVert's getting 33 minutes now, so that's pretty huge. So he has a floor, or he has a ceiling too.
Dinwiddie against the Pacers only hit 4 shots and still had 47.5 fantasy points, which is it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, definitely GPP though for sure. And then I want to touch base on Doncic because I know we're gonna get questions on him.
Go.
10.9. 32 minutes is what they're having. It's what they're projecting him at now. If you guys remember before the injury, he's playing like 36 to 38 minutes every single game, or 34 to 38 minutes. So I don't get the 32 because I would assume they're gonna play him if he's at full strength. if they do have a minute restriction, I highly doubt it's only going to be 2 minutes. So I feel like Doncic could end up being a really good play just because I think he's going to play over 32 minutes. If they say he's going to have a minute restriction, well, might as well keep it below 30. So I will say this: if there's no minute restriction on him, I'm thinking he's going to be a very solid play because 10-9 is obviously a very low price tag for Doncic regardless. 117 is going to be a pace-up spot for them, so I do like Doncic, again, only if he does not have a minute restriction and he's playing above 34 minutes, his normal amount. TJ, what do you think about him?
So I'm kind of the other way. So he hasn't played in 8 games, obviously. So he hasn't played since January 28th. This is their only game right now before the All-Star break. I don't even know why he's playing tonight, to be honest.
I don't know why either.
I don't know why you even have him go tonight. So I don't think he'll play 32 minutes. I kind of pegged him for like 28, 30, like that range. Obviously, I know, but a guy that is that productive fantasy point per minute, like those 3 to 4 minutes can be a big difference between, hitting 50 points and going for 58. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he plays 32, yeah, 10-9 is really cheap for him. But like, I don't think he does, just because like I said, I don't even know why he is going tonight against Sacramento. Like, yeah, Sacramento's a pretty good team, but like, it's the last game for the All-Star break. I get maybe a little warm up for him before the All-Star break. I don't even know if he's still starting, so I don't know what's really going on with Luka in the All-Star game. So maybe that's why he's going tonight. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really see him playing 32 minutes tonight. But if he does, then yeah, definitely.
I'm only saying that if he plays over 32 minutes, like, he's a lock. Obviously at 10-9.
Yeah, I
think that's my only point. Again, if they're going to come out, if Fantasy Labs comes out and tweets, hey, like, Duke Doncic is going to be on the minute restriction. No, I'm obviously going to avoid him at 10-9. At full strength, he's a great play, but again, that's the question. All right, we have about 17 minutes, so I think we should start rifling through all these questions.
Yeah, timeout. Hold on. Is Conley out? Oh, he is out.
He's quit. Is he out?
He's out.
Now?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's big for like Jordan Clarkson because, I mean,
he's always the play.
We've all seen what Jordan Clarkson's been doing these last couple games. He's been just on an absolute tear. It's been so aggressive. 5-3 against Miami. I don't like the matchup, but like, he's put up 19 and 17 shots the last 2 games. Without Conley last game, 46 points. So
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and calculate that.
Definitely a GPP play for sure. Load up the Nas retrain.
I wouldn't have guessed that he was going to be my favorite play this morning once I looked at the entire slate. But that's how it works. Where is Jordan Clarkson? All right, so he doesn't get a boost, but he gets a boost in minutes.
Yeah, I'll probably play 30.
Yeah. I mean, he's okay.
Yeah, but I'd kind of go off more of recency bias opposed to what he looks like over, you know what I mean? In this specific instance.
I mean, Miami scares me too. That's the only thing.
Yeah. No, I know. That's why I'm saying Clarkson as a GPP play. He's not I'm not talking in terms of cash.
32. I'm looking at Royce O'Neal now. He's just so bad.
No, don't do that. Don't waste your time.
No, he's a 6.5 now.
Is he really?
He's a 6.5, being at 0.65 fantasy points per minute.
He's trash.
All right. Well, 32 minutes. So that could end up being a decent option for bottom of the barrel price tag.
Yeah, if he wasn't trash, but he's trash.
And they're 18th. They're 18th in the league against wing players, apparently. So that's cool. All right. Well, then there you go. That opened up some more value.
I might roster Trey in cash.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start talking. Start answering some of these questions because I haven't done that yet. I refresh the page, look at some ownership. I'm gonna give a rough overview. TJ, do you want to start answering some basic questions like cash locks and stuff? Because I know they're gonna come up.
Yeah. So
right.
I can give you my 4 cash locks as they stand right now. They're gonna be Devin Booker, Larry Nance, Naz Reid, Diallo, and I even like Eric Bledsoe, so I gave you 5. Those are my cash locks right now, and then like James Johnson too, coming off the bench. If he does come off the bench for Minnesota without Cat now, I really like against Charlotte at 3-5. I think he's cash viable. Trae Young, somebody I'm looking at now because there's so much value that I do have the option to spend up on some of these guys. With all these power forward center eligible players, it's going to be tough for me to fit in Drummond because I would prioritize like Naz Reid, Larry Nance, Diallo, and James Johnson ahead of him. But I will have the spend up ability now with all these cheapies. So I think it makes Drummond more cash viable, Trae Young more cash viable, maybe even a guy like Hassan Whiteside, again, center eligible, unfortunately. So we can only fit 4 of these forward/centers in our lineup, and it looks like that's where all the value is. So D'Lo, also somebody that like I'm kind of torn between just because like you don't know. You expect him to be super aggressive without Cat on the court, right? I mean, that's what makes sense. But yeah, it's kind of where my head's at in terms of cash. Those are those locks are the guys that. All right, so Ibaka is starting, so yeah, everything's good to go for him. Someone said Russell making his debut today. Slothy said Russell played last game. Yeah, it's D'Lo's second game tonight. T.J. Warren or Barnes revenge? I don't think.
Does that make sense?
No, he's talking like, yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, Barnes going back to Dallas and then T.J. Warren. Yeah, no, I have no interest in either of those guys in terms of cash. LeVert or Clarkson? That's so tough because I haven't calculated for Utah now without Clark. I mean, Clarkson's been on an absolute heater. I would go LeVert. I think he's safer, but like based off of Clarkson's last couple games, I wouldn't hate you if you went with Clarkson. They're also priced there's a 1,300 price difference.
So it's not really, you can't compare those guys.
I'm assuming he's talking FanDuel.
I'm gonna talk real quick about GPP because you covered cash.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna give you my favorite GPP plays. Even though he's more of a cash play, I think you need to be overweight on Naz Reid tonight. I think he's the most obvious play tonight. I think he needs to be a focal point in all of your lineups. He's your salary saver. He's going to be the most efficient. If he's coming off the bench, it's still not a bad play. He'll probably drive down ownership if he's not starting. So that I'll honestly probably might even like him even more if he's not starting.
James Johnson is starting ahead of Naz Reid. So
okay, like I just said.
I will prioritize James Johnson ahead of Naz Reid now in terms of cash, but I think both of them are viable.
But this makes
me lock. So, sorry, man, I know I just cut you off, but my locks now are going to be James Johnson, Booker, Nance, and Diallo.
All right. To rifle off my favorite GPP options. So these are not locks. I keep seeing GPP locks. GPP locks aren't a thing. We don't lock people for GPPs unless you're playing single entry. But for GPPs, I'm going to have a high exposure to somebody like Malik Beasley coming in at 10% ownership, again with a very thin rotation, showing up in the majority of my lineups. I like Malik Beasley tonight. Very thin rotation, again, should open up. He's been balling with the T-Wolves and, of course, with Cat out. Russell, I'm going to go ahead and take a stab. 8.3 is showing way too cheap on these models here. He's showing at 7%. I think that will go up again. I think a lot of these T-Wolves will go up in ownership, but not enough in the GPPs. I like Damian Lillard tonight. Still averages 1.53 fantasy points per minute in an up-paced game. He sat the entire fourth quarter of the last game, which was last night, so I don't even know if you want to consider it back-to-back. He played limited minutes. I do like Lillard as a pay-up option tonight, coming in at 8% ownership. And Chris Middleton, we already spoke about this, coming in at 11%, is still underpriced. It's going to be him or Bledsoe. If it is more Middleton, it could end up paying off for you in the long run tonight. Again, those are my favorite GPP options on the slate. Yeah, so just to recap, your favorite cash locks are, TJ, one more time? You're probably dealing with the lineup right now.
Getting 100 off. What?
You're probably dealing with the lineups right now.
They already changed. My cash locks are... No, I'm just kidding. They're James Johnson, Naz Reid, Booker, and Diallo.
Okay.
And then I'm really high on Larry Nance, but I think I'm going to give it to... I'd rather go Reid and Johnson over Nance. I'd rather save the money. But, I mean, if Nance is in my lineup too, I don't hate it. So yeah, James Johnson, Naz Reid, Booker, Diallo.
All right.
And so
I can agree with that. We got 10 minutes left on the stream. Let's start answering some questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to enter them into the chat, and we will go through them. All right.
A pivot off with Middleton, I don't know about you, Matt, but at 8-8, you're either going down to Siakam or Randall or going up to Vooch. I would go to Randall at 8-6. That'd be my pivot. I know the positions aren't the same, but
I agree
That's
with
my
Randall.
pivot in terms of price.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Let me go to the small forwards and see if there's nobody in that small forward range.
Hernan Gomez for cash? Yeah, I think he's cash viable now too. I mean, a lot of those Minnesota guys are so cheap and all cash viable. It's just they're all so cheap and they all only have power forward or center eligibility that you can't really fit everybody. Like now that I'm thinking and looking at the numbers, I honestly wouldn't even hate maybe going Hernan Gomez over Nance. It just depends on really who you're spending up for. I think that's the biggest thing.
All right. We have a lineup from Sano, Trae Young, Malik Beasley, Oubre, Diallo, Naz Reid, Bledsoe, Hernan Gomez, Dinwiddie for GPP. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Dinwiddie will definitely be low owned. Trae Young is going to probably come around 10% for tourneys. Yeah, I like that. And Malik Beasley's not showing high at all right now. All right, I need someone for 5,700 for cash. Let's look. Anybody, I'm assuming. So you're probably looking in the util spot. 57.
They said center, right? Or they just said they need somebody 5,700 for cash.
Yep.
That's a crappy price point. I would rearrange whatever you have going. I'd personally for cash I would probably go to Jordan Clarkson at 5'3" if you want to leave the 400 on the table, which is something I'm always comfortable doing. I love leaving money on the table if I love my lineup. I've left 800 on the table so like one time, maybe twice this year. If you love your lineup, you love your lineup. So you don't always need to spend that allotted money that you have. That's why it's there. So I personally would probably go to Jordan Clarkson at 5'3", but I don't like that price point.
Yeah, that or Bridges is the only other viable option, I'd say.
Yeah.
What about John Collins in GPP? He's at 9-1, so that does scare me, but he's going to come in very low owned, so I'm not going to be against it. There's a ton of options at the center power forward position tonight. If you want to do that, very good matchup against Cleveland. But again, it's 9-1 does scare me. All right. Favorite high-priced GPP center? Good question.
Whiteside. Or Drummond.
High-priced GPP center. Yeah, I think I'm going to say Drummond. Whiteside is coming at 20%, so he's going to carry a little bit more ownership. Yeah, I'm going to say Drummond, probably. Pivot for Bledsoe. I don't know why you would want to pivot off of him, but I'm going to say just don't pivot off. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, don't pivot off of Bledsoe, please. Lillard question mark. Yeah, touch base on him. I think he's coming in at very low ownership. Again, they're playing off a back-to-back, but they didn't play the entire fourth quarter. A lot of their starters didn't. So I do like him. He's in a pace of spot against Memphis. We didn't really touch base on them, but again, Portland has a lot of players with upside tonight against Memphis, starting with Lillard. DJ, what's your favorite center for cash? I think you said that already.
There's so many, man. James Johnson, Naz Reid, Diallo.
Yeah.
I want all of them in my lineup.
Ariza question mark. Yeah, so there was somebody roasting me earlier for my Ariza pick, but he didn't play the entire fourth quarter last night. So again, he was right at almost at value, and he did very well when he was in. So Ariza, let's see what his price tag looks like now. 4.5, 32 minutes. I mean, it went up a little bit. They have somebody back, too. Who do they have? No, I mean, he's an okay spot. It's a bad matchup, though. They rank 10th in the league against wing players, apparently. Memphis does. But again, I mentioned some of my other GPP plays. I like them better.
Oh, I wanted to touch base on one of my favorite GPP plays tonight. After my hot shot, Paul George really played well for us. Marquise Chris.
Yeah, no, he bodes well on their sheet, too.
Yeah, I really like Marquise Chris tonight in GPPs. I feel like with all this center power forward eligibility now, he'll be very low on. So,
Lowry question mark. No, avoid Lowry tonight. Again, he has that price tag increase. The only person that we really like from Toronto is Ibaka.
What do they have? What do they have? D'Lo's percentage ownership at now?
I'm gonna refresh.
Because I feel like it's gonna be
High.
Yeah.
It was showing at 8 earlier, and if it's at 8, I'm going to start him in GPPs.
It's not gonna be at 8. There's no chance it's still at 8. Because like I'm looking at him and he's fitting my build, and
yeah, he just got tagged 23%.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Who?
Your boy.
Me, that's my guy, dude.
Yeah, D'Lo, James Johnson, and Naz Reid all did. It's just so funny because there's a specific guy that always tags our plays, and it's just funny because we always agree with this guy, no matter what. No matter what the slate looks like, we always agree with this one analyst.
I love Meansy, man. He's unbelievable. He's such a good guy.
He has to be doing the exact same thing we're doing.
Well, because I'm just like I was sitting here and I'm looking at my build and like I keep landing on D'Lo and I was like, okay, I saw him at 8%. I was like, there's no way, like he's gonna get a huge bump, especially with Caddo playing against Charlotte. So,
Reed or Diallo, please both. Try to get them both in there, but Reed probably.
It's a Minnesota night, guys. I mean, they've had so much turn. Like, look at their starting lineup. It's not. None of the 4 of these guys weren't even on Minnesota last week, and Kobe. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Lillard and Young in the same lineup? Question mark. I mean, if you can get to them, for cash, I don't recommend that. But if you want to do that for GPP, that's definitely contrarian. You won't see too many Trae Young and Lillard lineups out there. If you can get the value, there's a lot of value plays. I'm sure you can do it. Means he is tagging Booker? I don't think so. I actually don't think he did. Because you're looking at the orange, not the red.
I love Booker. He probably does have him tagged. He should have him tagged.
My internet's going really slow. Oh yeah, you're right. He did tag Booker. Look at that. Look at that. You're right. Okay, Jaren Jackson and Jay Crowder for GPP. I haven't gotten a Jaren Jackson question. Jaren Jackson, 6.4. I mean, if he stays out of foul trouble,
yeah,
that's always a question.
Crazy, but he's going up against Melo. That's an unbelievable matchup for him. So, in a pretty good pace spot. Obviously, Memphis is a very fast-paced team. So it's not necessarily a pace-up spot for them because they're 4th ranked. They're the 4th fastest paced team in the NBA. So, but yeah, that's a juicy matchup for Jaren Jackson against Melo.
TJ, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here because I have a lot to do. I have to update my patrons too, and it's an 11 game slate. I have to make my GPPs, so I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it off here. We're only a minute ahead of the schedule here. So, guys, Minnesota tonight, Suns. We mentioned some of our favorite plays. Again, I will be updating throughout the night. If there is any late night pivots, please follow us on Twitter. Please subscribe to our channel. And if you haven't yet, please go to us on our website if you need more help on your cash lineups. And I also release my favorite plays on Patreon. So again, guys, please do all those things. Again, have a great, what's today? Wednesday. Have a great Wednesday, guys. TJ, any last words?
Love you guys. Good luck.
All right, guys. With that